I don't think one bad movie kills a brand. And I think the way that I tie that back to sort of, we create content on the regular, right? And
yes.
I actually think
I forgot about that. I was still busy rambling. I forgot about your original question.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since episode number 71 of the Promo Upfront podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bill Petrie. With me, as always, the captain of the crinkle cut French fry, the master of meat himself, the one and only Dr. Kirby Hasseman. Kirby, how the kashakton are you today?
You know what? I'm doing really well. Feeling good. Things are good here. And I'm starting to break down the codes. I'm starting to break down the codes of my nicknames. So I'm paying attention to my nicknames and I'm guessing what topics we have down the road, which is, I love that. That's kind of, most of the audience figured it out 6 months ago. I just figured it out today. So I feel pretty good about that. How are you?
I'm great. I haven't even figured it out. So I have no idea what you're talking about in any way, shape, or form. But I'll tell you someone who does know what they're talking about, Kirby, and that's our good pal, Jason Noakes over at Promo Pulse. We've talked about that amazing AMP email service. And I don't want to talk about that today. So frankly, I'm not going to.
All right.
We've covered that, but I don't think we've really covered the why you would want to partner with Promo Pulse and at AMP email service. It does help you stay top of mind with clients and prospects. And that's always a really nice, soft sales touch, as opposed to just picking up the phone and say, hey, I was just seeing how you're doing. Right. So it keeps you top of mind. You send those beautiful retail-inspired emails with branded merchandise from your preferred suppliers and those 3 easy steps we've talked about. But most importantly, it's going to grow your sales. And dare I say it's going to amplify your sales? You see what I did right there, Kirby?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. Kirby, you love the AMP email service. Why?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you pick the suppliers you want to partner with. I think that's important. You set up your sending frequency and then you just kind of go on. And then all of a sudden in your client's inbox that shows up and they are really beautiful. Like they pick lifestyle images. So honestly, and you know me, I pride myself on doing email marketing and stuff like that. But they're sending prettier emails than I am. And so what that does is create engagement, I think, not only from the desktop, but also from the mobile. And so it really does create an engagement that, at the end of the day, that's what we all want.
It is. And honestly, I don't know why I asked you, because I'm not sure we should take your word for it. How about a great story about reconnecting with a dormant client from the one and only Shannon Laredo of Business Branders? Here's her quote. I'm beyond thrilled. My main contact at one of my largest accounts left last year, and I've been unable to get a response from anyone in the company until today's AMP email campaign. As a result, I'm coding several products and have scheduled an in-person meeting. Amazing. Nice. A testimonial like that, and joking aside, your experience with it, it really does make partnering with Promo Pulse and AMP a no-brainer. So we know you want to learn more. You're thirsty for knowledge. You're hungry for knowledge. Head over to promopulse.io/amp. They're not going to be sorry they did, Kirby.
No, they will not be sorry they did.
All right. As we said last week, this platinum content is free. There is no charge for it. We could charge you something. We choose not to. So pay us back by giving us a like or a listen or subscribe on your favorite podcast or video platform. That's the end of the public service announcement. All right. I've got the upfront section of the podcast today, Kirby.
No,
I don't. Oh,
no,
hey, Kirby, you've got the upfront section of the podcast today. Hey, you could have bamboozled me into doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Kirby, what is our
funny.
What is our upfront section of the podcast today, Kirby?
Yeah, because and we always joke that like every once in a while there's like an obvious one and often there's not, right? And so this week I felt like there was an obvious one, so I'm not going to miss the opportunity to take it. So Expo's coming up. We have talked about that a little bit, and I find myself getting excited about PPAI Expo, getting the band back together, as it were. But last week, it was last week, right? Or it was early this week that everything is a time warp. That they announced Promo Palooza. the exciting new event experience coming to PPI Expo at 2022. So I'll just give a quick thing. They are essentially going to have their Expo party live at Allegiant Stadium on January 12th. And so Allegiant Stadium is the home of the Oakland Raiders.
Or Las Vegas Raiders, as the case might be.
Yeah, Las Vegas Raiders, whatever, the Raiders. They don't have a coach. They don't have a wide receiver, whatever. They're excited to have us at their stadium. And it's on my birthday.
You're salty.
So I am like really, this is one of those where, in the interest of sort of transparency, the big party, I'm not I wasn't a huge fan of I think it was called the Power of Two. I'm sure it was fine for a lot of folks, but it was really loud. It was really crowded. Those are things that I don't love. As I told somebody in an email today, I was old when I was still young. That is not a scene I liked. But when they came out with this announcement, I was like, that seems really cool. And I love that PPI is thinking outside the box. They're bringing it back for the first time in a couple of years. And the idea that they're doing, I don't know if this becomes a tradition or anything like that, but for this one event, I thought this was a really cool idea. And I was curious to know what you thought.
I love the idea of having an event there. Like you 2 years ago, when last time I was in Vegas for Expo of 2020, could see it being built from my hotel room. It looks like a big giant Roomba, but that's beside the point. I think it's a great idea to have to make a concerted effort to get people off site. I think you have some challenges there. Obviously, will people go? And I would go. Now, unfortunately, I'm already planning on leaving Wednesday morning, so I will not actually be able to go to the Palooza of promo. Yeah. But I have no doubt PPAI is going to do a great job and make it a memorable event. I know a few years ago, I believe at NALC, the North American Leadership Conference, they toured the AT&T Stadium, which is where the Dallas Cowboys play. Cool. And they were on the field and things like that. So I hope it's an on the field experience. But I'll be very curious to hear about it. Like you, the Power of Two party never did it for me. It has nothing to do with PPAI or Sage. I just never liked that venue. I gave up going to raves a long time ago. And so I don't need that kind of scene. So I'm with you. I think it's good. I think that, again, trying to get a group of people, or a large group of people, from one location to all go their separate ways, get there in their own individual ways, and then congregate at another location is going to be a challenge. But I have a feeling it's going to be a great little party there, Kirby.
Well, and I think they're going to have to keep it to a minimum, I would guess, from a numbers perspective anyway. I got the chance to talk to Dale Denham this week. I had him on Delivery Marketing Joy, and it was really
great episode, by the way.
Oh,
thank you. Quick, I'm sorry, I'm interjecting. If you haven't watched Kirby's Delivery Marketing Joy with Dale Denham this week, make a point to do so. You can find it over at Promo Corner in their promo journal section. It is a great conversation you guys had.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Again, Dale was super gracious. I've been booking those way out, and at his request, he's like, no, I want to record it really quickly before it airs so that everything is, hot to trot as it comes out. Right. And so I thought that made it really cool. But he was really excited, gave credit to the team about putting this whole thing together. And I don't know, it was one of those where I'm like, that as many times as we've gone to Vegas, and I think sometimes, at least 2 years ago, now it feels fresh to me again. But 2 years ago, I was kind of, okay, I'm kind of over it. We've done it a bunch of times. This is an example of a way for them to go, okay, this is something we've never done. And I think anytime we can do that, I think it's cool. So
absolutely. I think a lot of people feel Vegas is stale. And then obviously we had the pandemic off here. Not everybody's waiting to get back to Vegas.
Exactly.
There you go. All right, cool. Kirby. Wendy's changes their Twitter name to Meat.
I did see that.
So I don't know if anybody else saw this, but Wendy's, which has a long and very rich history of being one of the more amazing, funny, snappy, quick-witted, snarky Twitter accounts you can ever find for a corporation, in response to Facebook changing the overall parent company name to Meta, they just put out a tweet that just said, "We will now be called Meat." That was it. And it was absolutely hilarious. And I bring this up really for one reason. I mean, it shows obviously the power of social media because Arby's responded, McDonald's responded.
Yeah.
I don't know if Facebook ever did or not. I'm sure
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think we have enough. I don't think we allow our corporate brands
Mm.
to have enough fun with social media. Now,
Yeah.
we're here at Brandivate. It's very much an intentional thing with us. We try to do it not only with our advertising, but you've seen it, for our regular ads. But I know you've seen it like for Wondering Wednesday. We might pull out the Z Cavariccis from the late '80s,
Yeah.
or we try to inject some humor into it. And when I see something like this from Wendy's, it's amazing to me that other companies don't do this as well. Hire some kid to be a wise ass because it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to get your take on it. Being a big, I know you're a big believer in the power of social media as I am, and I want to get your take on that.
Yeah. So it's funny you say that, because I think that's the perception, is you hire a kid who can be a wise ass. I always say that
Right.
the people,
I'm sure it's not.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think like you are one of those people in my mind who is quick-witted, is funny. And I think it takes a ton of courage from leadership to be like, no, yeah, insult McDonald's.
Mhm.
That's like, or more than that, because the CEO of Wendy's is not telling them to do that or okaying it, because that's the only way it works in social media, is that they go, you have my full trust. We're going to step in it. It's going to be okay. And we're going to have some fun with it. Go. And like, that takes a lot of courage. And I think part of that is having a team. Yeah. Maybe you have one young wise ass, but there's some really smart
group
people,
of wise asses.
Yeah. But really smart ones,
yeah.
Because you got to know, because we've seen so many brands like, oh, I'm going to try and duplicate funny, or I'm going to jump on the latest cause. And if it's not authentic to that brand, it doesn't work. And they come off, there's a controversy, whatever. It's funny how long Wendy's has been doing this and being a wise ass. And the only time you hear about it is when it's really funny. You don't like with the cancel culture and all the things we have going on. You never have like cancel Wendy's.
And some of our younger listeners may not remember, but there used to be a time where calling out your competition by name was complete sacrilege.
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's would refer to their competition as brand X, like literally, and I'm not joking. Now, I think when you have, whether it's young kid, have the authority, but you have leadership, you have a company that embraces, hey, we're going to have this type of image, and we're going to be fun, we're going to be cutting edge, and we're going to probably step on a few toes occasionally, but never intentionally. And you're allowed to poke fun at the competition. It's amazing what it does for your brand, because what it does, it gives you transparency.
Yeah.
Right. It gives you complete utter transparency. And I love what you said there about leadership really dictating and setting the tone for that. It's, hey, I'm sure it is like that. I'm sure there is very few review processes over at Wendy's.
You couldn't, because you can't do it fast enough.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's what makes it work so well, is because it's so timely and pointed. And I just thought it was a brilliant use of social media. I'd like to see more use of that social media, quite frankly, but I wanted to get your take.
Well, yeah. And just as a side note, you ask, why don't bigger companies do that? It's because they don't allow that freedom. It has to go through the lawyers. It has to go. But that's not good for social media. I forget who we railed on not too long ago, because they wrote a press release because they stepped in it from a
it was someone in the industry, because they had a data leak, if I remember
leak or whatever, and their press release was completely lawyered up, right? And it was like having the courage to allow people to, hey, just do Twitter. It'll be fine.
So when does the pendulum finally swing back, right? These things always go back and forth. And right now we are in a super cancel culture, super litigious society where we apologize before we even say something.
Yeah.
I say, I'm sorry, we're having mashed potatoes as our side dish tonight because I'm worried someone's going to be upset that I'm actually killing potatoes.
Yeah. I honestly, I think that we're probably on, like, as you mentioned, the pendulum,
the downswing.
I think it's starting to come back, because you're starting to see real pushback from people. And I think that the only way it does is when there's enough pushback where people go, no, we're gonna have a leadership and say, no, we're not going to change our logo because of 1,000 people on Twitter. I forget who I was listening to the other day, but they said, look, I put out things and 1,000 people get mad at it all the time. So I'm fine with it, but most organizations are not used to that. And so
No.
in the kitchen, they're like, okay, we got to change this. We got to change. It was Representative Dan Crenshaw talking to Trevor
Mhm.
Noah on the Daily Show, which, by the
Mhm.
way, amazing discussion.
Mhm.
But he said, it's going to take leadership to go, I appreciate your feedback, but no, we're not doing that. And that's a fine line, by the way, because I think the challenge is we've made some really great progress with some of those initiatives.
Oh, no question.
But then when we go too far, I think it decreases that value. So I think we're on the pendulum down.
It does. And I'm going to add one last thing, and it's got to be a longer discussion than I thought, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. I think you have to have the ability to take risks. I think we've created such a safe society where, everything has a crash helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, and no one skins their knees anymore. And because of that, when mistakes are made, they're magnified. Because like, well, where did the fail safe go wrong? Right. And so I think we need to have more leadership, like what we assume is at Wendy's, where it's okay, we're going to take a risk here, and we might step on it a little bit, but that is who we are. And when you embrace that kind of lack of fear of pushback, that fear of, it's not fear of failure, it's fear of repercussions.
Yeah, exactly.
But you do it in a thoughtful way. You don't want to offend people specifically.
Yeah, on purpose. You're trying to be funny.
It's a smart business decision, I think.
As a side note, one thing, I promise I'll stop talking about this. If you want a safe, snarky thing to say on Twitter, make fun of Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, Kirby, got another topic for us?
Yeah, so I read this. I thought this was interesting, and I'll tie it back. So there was a headline on LinkedIn the other day that said, will Eternals, the movie, harm the Marvel brand?
Okay.
Now, I have not seen Eternals. I did watch a lot of the Marvel movies, not all of them probably, but I was a fan, right?
Yep.
So it was interesting because the concept is expectations were super high for this Marvel blockbuster. They had extra time because of COVID, and the reviews have been not great. And I mean, even from a couple of guys in my office watched it and they were like, oh, it was not good at all. It was all over the place. But the idea, I mean, Marvel's brand, pretty solid, right? So
today,
but the idea that one bad movie ruin a brand? So no. I want to ask that question and then spin it forward to say, and what does that mean for content creators in today's world? So
I don't think so. I mean, if Jiggly couldn't kill Ben Affleck's career, I don't know how anything else could, like a single movie or bad decision, right?
Yeah.
I think, I've seen the trailers for that movie, The Eternals. Haven't set foot in a movie theater in 2 years.
Right.
So right. And I think it's a movie theater only release. And this is kind of a side topic, but I'm going to weave it right back in. I think, one of the things the pandemic's done, we've talked about this kind of at large, it's shifted the way life is going to be moving forward. And I think one of those things is, I think it's really killed the movie theater experience. Yes, there are some movies I will want to see in a theater. I want to see No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie, in a theater. I want big action movies in a theater. But if it's a romantic comedy, I'm totally cool chilling at home watching that, right? Yeah. I don't need that big experience. But it seems like you have 2 weeks now to watch that in the movie theater.
Yeah.
So I did they see it in the movie theater?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is also those Marvel characters were so iconic.
Right.
And I know it's not like somebody different is putting on the Iron Man suit, but it's a completely different character set. And it's our reptilian brains can't help but compare to what we've seen before. Right. When the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton came out in 1989, there were a lot of people who were very upset that Adam West, if you've ever seen the old Adam West Batman TV shows, it was campy, it was silly, it was funny, and just goofy.
Yeah.
They're upset he wasn't wearing the Batman cape. And then Michael Keaton did a great job. And then you had another group of people when Christian, not Chris
Christian Bale.
Nolan, he was the director, Christian Bale, he became Batman. People were like, man, Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, that's
We
right.
have a hard time with that type of change. Now, again, no one's putting on a new Iron Man suit. I don't think a bad movie, and I'm getting off topic, I'm sorry. I don't think a bad movie can kill a brand. It's going to damage it. So what it does is essentially puts the microscope on Marvel for the next one, because honestly, in my mind, they haven't had a hit since Endgame. So I know that the Black Widow movie came and went during pandemic. I didn't see it. I
Right.
normally would have.
Right.
I don't know if I'll see Eternals. I probably won't.
Right. Yeah. So I think to the question at hand, I agree. I think what you're saying, that I don't think one bad movie kills a brand. And I think the way that I tie that back to sort of, we create content on the regular, right? And I actually think
I forgot about that. I was still busy rambling. I forgot about your original question.
Yeah, no problem. But the idea is, I actually think this is one of the things that holds people back from doing it, because they're like, they perfect things to death, because if one bad blog post will ruin, my reputation as a content creator. And I actually think it's absurd that Eternals, and I've heard problems with storyline. I've heard problems with a lot of different things.
Let's just go on the basis it stinks.
Yeah, but if they come out with another Marvel based movie that looks interesting, I'll go
see it. Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's something that we hide behind. Yeah. And I do hate the even sort of the implication that one bad experience can ruin your reputation forever, because I just don't think history tells us that.
I agree. And I think we're just such an instantly reactive society. Well, that stinks. They're terrible now. They don't know what they're doing. And let's move on to the next piece of candy. Right. I agree with you. And so same thing with content. You and I have talked about this. I'll write a blog that I think, wow, this is really great. And people, it's like crickets. And then I write, but it doesn't stop me. It doesn't deter me. And it never would. Yeah. Because who knows? One of those things too, and I think it's important to realize this as a content creator, or even as a movie creator. Yeah. It's very presumptuous of us to assume that people are waiting for our content. And I've fallen into that trap. You know, and I'll put out a blog and someone will remind me, hey, today's Christmas. Yeah. What did you expect? Right. And I know you're big on putting it out every day, every Monday. We have to remember, people have things going on in their lives that people do not, other than this fine Platinum Lover broadcast. Yeah. People don't revolve their days around content generally. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's conversation. It's one of my favorite quotes is, you'd worry less about what people thought of you if you realized how little they did. Exactly. And so, but I would also bring it back to say the same thing, because I think, we've got a lot of salespeople. Maybe you're not a content creator, but one bad sales call doesn't ruin a sales career either. Right. And so I think it's just, what it is? It's the old defensive back and quarterback mentality, short memory. Yeah. Have a short memory, because you know what? You're going to put some, as Paul McCartney would say, a stinky do out there every once in a while. Learn from it, move on, and go forward. It's just that simple. Love it. All right, Kirby, crinkle cut French fry vodka. I know you're thirsty. All right. So Arby's. I did. Okay, Arby's. I was getting that too in the open when you're giving me the name, crinkle cut fries and meats. I was like, oh, it's got to be Arby's we're talking about today. Well, we already covered meat. That was the Wendy's one. So crinkle cut French fry vodka, Kirby. Yeah, this is a real thing. I went down a ridiculous rabbit hole today, and I want to apologize to all my clients for any deliverable that might be late, because I went down a deep rabbit hole with this. All right, Arby's is trying to forge the middle ground between comfort food and cocktails in a society that loves both. That's right, Kirby. They are creating a limited edition Arby's curly fry and crinkle cut fry vodka. It's the latest in a creative spin on consumer favorites. The 80 proof spirits are made from potato vodka and distilled with real ingredients, inspired by the brand's curly and crinkle cut fry flavor profiles. Now, the retail on this is $59.99 a bottle. Not too bad, kind of mid-priced. It drops on November 22nd on arbysvodka.com. Okay. I will be in digital line. Of course you will. Now, their CMO had a statement, and I would like to read this to you, if I may. Okay. Arby's recently added a crinkle cut option to accompany our truly iconic curly fries, providing another choice for fry lovers. Though we've mastered the art of drive-through fries, we wanted to take it one step further. by making them 80 proof. Being a potato-based liquor, this limited edition vodka is infused with crinkly and curly fry flavor, so Arby's fans can enjoy our menu from bag to bottle, which I love that catchphrase, by the way. It's funny.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't without precedence. This is the rabbit hole. Grey Poupon. They actually produced a limited edition wine made from mustard seeds, honeysuckle, and grapes from the south of France last year. Taco Bell rolled out Jalapeno Noir. It's a Pinot Noir that partnered with the relaunch of its toasted cheesy chalupa last year. All right, so I really want to talk about this. So I love the creativity here, and this is really a branding discussion.
Yeah.
We talked about Arby's merchandise a few weeks ago about them smoking sweatsuits and, you get that campfire flavor. For an afterthought in fast food, at least in my mind, and most people I know, Arby's was a very dated brand, an old brand. They are killing it, and it's not just merch. This is a branding discussion.
Oh, for sure.
They are redefining who they are. I am sure this vodka tastes like absolute crap. I don't care. Want it bad. Gonna buy it if I can. I just love the fact that they're not afraid to experiment with their own brand. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. We talked about it a little bit with the Wendy's thing.
Yeah, no, I actually think it's been an evolution. So Arby's, the funny thing is my whole life, I'm like Arby's. I was not a fan of Arby's. I didn't like the food. Right. I didn't like, if I'm going to a fast food, I want a burger.
Right.
Now, where it started was with the whole campaign. We have the meat, right? Yeah. Like, so when you said meat, honestly, you were talking Wendy's. I was thinking Arby's, which is kind of interesting, right?
They're doing their job then, right? I mean, that's empirical evidence right there.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I do like what Arby's has done, not only from a national commercial campaign, all that sort of thing. Obviously, the swag stuff is awesome. As a side note, crinkle cut fries suck. Or no, wrong. Curly fries suck. Crinkle cut fries are amazing.
Wrong, Kobe. Crinkle cut fries are inferior to the curly version. Well, what I think this does do put in place, though, I see Arby's now is a forward-thinking organization.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even know about their food right now. I still haven't had their food. Shame on me. But I'm now more willing to try it than I was a year ago. Yeah, I absolutely am. But
their menu's different. That's the thing, is that they've taken the ad campaign, and that's where, like, you can do a great ad campaign, but in my experience, Taco Bell still tastes like Taco Bell, right? Like, but they have actually modified at least a little bit to change. Because really, all joking aside, like the crinkle cut fries was a fairly new addition. We have Arby's here, so I'm like, oh my God, they're great. Like, they're really good. Like,
there you go.
And so, but it's the whole. It's driven me there, and I'm like, you know what? This is not the Arby's I remember.
Well, and like I said, I see them as a forward-thinking organization now, and I don't see that in most of their competitors. Obviously, the Wendy's social media I do, but not the other things. But it got me to thinking, Kirby.
Okay.
What other fast food mashups would I like to see?
Okay.
And I want to get your take on these. This is not the game.
Okay.
An easy one. Auntie Anne's. We're all familiar with their soft pretzels in airports and in malls. Why don't they have pretzel sticks through Frito-Lay? Seriously.
Yeah,
that would be an easy one.
Yeah, that would actually be really easy.
You're familiar with In-N-Out burger, right? And the double.
I mean, okay. I've really never been to an In-N-Out, but I know
but it's a double cheeseburger. Yep. Why not a double stuffed Oreo? I want an In-N-Out burger flavored Oreo.
That sounds so gross.
Yeah, it does. How about a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken sandwich Bloody Mary mix? I don't think that's a bad idea.
Okay, I don't hate that one. That one's pretty good.
How about Chipotle spicy red sauce infused tequila?
Oh yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And then actually, here's one McDonald's would never go for it. They're baked apple pies, which actually smell delicious. I haven't had one in years, but they smell amazing, right?
Okay.
Why not McDonald's baked apple pie moonshine? I've had apple pie moonshine before. And
you've brought me apple pie moonshine.
I have. Yeah. It tastes like apple pie.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting one. Yeah. You're right. They wouldn't go for, although, I wouldn't have thought of Arby's potato vodka either. So That's
Well, isn't it time for Jack Daniels and Jack and Coke, right? A ubiquitous drink. Everybody knows it. Isn't it time for Coca-Cola to actually put their cola in cans with Jack Daniels? They do sell Jack and Cola right now.
okay. I was gonna say I thought I'd seen that.
They do, but it's Jack and Cola. Why not
Yeah.
put Coke in there? And I know they don't want their brand associated with alcohol and all that, but blah, blah, blah. All right, Kirby, we got a new game today.
Okay.
Party in the back. All right, we have amazing people in our industry, and I really need you to listen very closely here. I need our audience to listen very closely.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
This is a question of either or. Who in the promo industry would you rather work for? And I want to set some ground rules here. You'd work for this person for 1 year. Okay. They would assign your role. And I want you to focus on who you feel you'd learn most from. Okay. We're not pitting one person against another. I want to be super clear on that. Everybody on this list is amazing. They're wonderful people. This is not to trip Kirby up for once.
Yeah, no,
I think this is a really interesting.
The issue, and I don't know the list, but the issue is really going to be about me. Like, who could I work for? Because I've not been cut out for that for a long time.
No, same. So there's no wrong answers. Like I said, all the people are truly amazing. We are not pitting people against each other. This is just a fun conversation.
Okay,
truly.
cool.
All right.
I'll do my best.
Let's start this out. Mark Simon, CEO of Halo.
Okay.
Or Greg Musillo from Performa, CEO of Performa.
I think I would probably mesh better with Mark Simon. I have worked at Halo. I was Lee Wayne at the time. And so Mark was a part of the acquisition where Lee Wayne bought JII. I found him to be incredibly smart. And so, yeah, I think for me, the personalities would be much better with Mark.
Okay. Jonathan Isaacson from Gemline or CJ Schmidt from Hit Promotional Products.
Okay.
And by the way, like I said, every single person on this, man, there is so much to learn from everybody on this list.
Yeah, that's a tough one because both of them are very smart. I think I'd have more fun working with CJ just because I think our personalities are more similar, which is why I think I'm going to say Jonathan. And I mean that because I think because we have different strengths, he would pull things out of me that hopefully would make.
That's great. Dale Denham, who you spoke with earlier this week on Delivering Marketing Joy, CEO of PPAI, or Tim Andrews, the CEO of ASI.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go.
These are real thinkers, folks.
Yeah.
So cut Kirby a little slack here. This is not easy.
Yeah,
this is not picking an enchilada or a chalupa.
Yeah, which is clearly an enchilada. I would go with. I'm gonna go with Tim Andrews. And I think so. I love what Dale is doing at PPAI. I get the sense, and I could be totally off base on this. I get the sense with what happens with Michelle and the team in the media area. Assuming he put me in that, I think he'd be more apt to just go do it and give me a little more freedom. I think I would work a little bit better like that. But that's my impression.
Dana Zezzo from American Solutions for Business or Charity Gibson from Peerless Umbrella.
Oh, that's good. It's a really good one. I really like both those folks. This is unfair to Charity. Dana's like literally one of my best buddies. So I'm probably going to say Dana because I think we'd end up working on a bunch of projects and going for runs and doing weird Ragnar stuff.
I don't think, look, nobody should take offense to any of these.
Yeah.
Roger Burnett from Social Good Promotions or Denise Taschereau from Fairware.
I'm going to go Denise on this one. I love what Roger's doing over at Social Good. I find every time I talk to Denise, she thinks about that space so much differently than I do. That I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel like smarter every time I'm around her. And I think that would be good for me.
Yeah. All right. Two of the smartest people I know, Larry Cohen from Axis, powered by Halo, or John Norris of Starline.
I'm going to go John Norris. I think John has put together a team of people that I know better. Like, again, obviously Larry has as well with Joe and all those folks. But I'm going to go Starline. For whatever reason, I think the culture would fit me a little bit better.
That's okay. All right. Jason Noakes from Promo Pulse, we mentioned him earlier, or the dynamic duo Brett Schaefer and Dan Piggott from Soapbox. Little Royal Rumble of service providers there, Kirby.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. You know what? I'm going to go Noakes. I'm going to go Mr. Jason
Okay.
Noakes. I think between sort of we'd end up with guitars out and doing some fun sort of creative weird shit that you wouldn't think of. Like that I think we would end up with some crazy ass ideas that would be fun for me to work on.
You're doing great. This is fun. I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Joel Crane from Tervis.
Oh yeah.
Or Dan Towns from Shapenko.
Oh man. Both.
I was very thoughtful putting these together, by the way.
Yeah, this is really good. So Shapenko, we would laugh a lot. I'm not sure I'd get much done. So I'm going to go with Joel down at Tervis. Okay. Again, speaking of getting out guitars, last time I was with him, we were actually playing music together. So
yeah, awesome. RJ Hagel from Gold Star or Kathy Chang from Redwood Classics.
Yeah. You've not made this easy on me for sure.
That's the idea.
I feel like I'm the judge on The Voice, right? Like I'm picking between like two really, really good, talented folks.
Oh, love behave.
Will you stop? RJ has been a great team. He's built a great team over there. I love what they're doing. I think they're super fun, and I like that a lot. Again, I'm gonna lean. I think if you notice a theme, I'm leaning toward people who have expertise in a space I don't.
Yep.
And so I would go Kathy Chang.
That was the rules.
She would help me grow in that space.
Yeah, I wanted you to focus on who you thought you could learn more from. So you're doing great. Common Skew, Mark Graham or Catherine Graham?
Oh, actually, this one's pretty easy. It would definitely be Catherine Graham. I think Mark and I are too much alike. We're constantly the idea people. Amy is my Catherine. She is the person who grounds me and keeps me going. Yeah, it's a great idea, but we're not going to be able to execute it. I think Catherine would do that well for me.
All right. Brandfield, Danny Rosen or Robert Five-Ash?
Boy, both good. I think the answer is going to be Danny because I know him a little better. And again, he inspires me in that nonprofit space. I find myself wanting to do more in my community every time I'm around him. I'm sure Robert does that as well, but I know that about Danny. So I would say Danny.
All right, last one. Bill Petrie from, I guess this is an Italian company, Brandavate, or Amy Hasseman from Hasseman Marketing. Who would you rather work for?
This is the hardest one.
It shouldn't be. It should be the easiest one if you want to eat dinner tonight.
No, again, both are two of my closest people in my life. So I would say Bill Petrie. I've worked for Amy.
Okay.
I think you and I would struggle a little bit. Yeah. But I think if you're talking about who would make me grow more, I think the answer is you. I think Amy has done her best over 20 some years.
So now it's my responsibility to clean up her mess.
That's exactly it. I like that. That's a good way to end that.
Well, I tell you what, if you're looking to grow your sales and you don't want to clean up a mess, there's no better way to do that than Promo Pulse's AMP email service. I got to tell you, it's a great way to stay top of mind with your clients. So soft sales touches that really do keep you top of mind. It's super important. And as we kind of steer through the hopefully end of the pandemic, being top of mind is going to be so important. Those beautiful retail inspired emails. And again, it's going to amplify your sales. And my gosh, as we enter the holiday season, who doesn't want their sales to be on the upswing as we enter 2022? So it really is that no brainer. So you want to learn more. Don't deny yourself the pleasure of heading over to promopulse.io/amp. You're not going to be sorry you did. Kirby, I've enjoyed podcasting with you on this fine, fine day.
Thanks, man.
That's right.